let's dive into a pretty fascinating and maybe, yeah, a slightly uncomfortable idea. We're going to explore how the simple act of being less available can completely change the way people see you, the way they value you, and how drawn they are to you. It's all about the powerful psychology of scarcity. Just think about it for a second. Who's the most magnetic person you know? I'm not talking about the loudest person in the room or even the most outgoing. I mean that person who just has a certain presence, right? A kind of weight to them. When they finally give you their attention, it feels like it really, truly means something. Okay, got that person in your head? Good. All right, so here's the big contrast. On one side, you have that magnetic person. Their attention feels like you've earned it. There's this undeniable pull toward them. And on the other side, you've got the always available person. Look, we like them, we're grateful for them, but that pull, it's just not there. So what gives? What's the real difference here? Well, it turns out the whole dynamic is rooted deep inside our own psychology. So let's get into the why behind all of this, because this isn't just about playing social games or anything like that. No, this is about how our brains are fundamentally wired to figure out what has value. And it all comes down to one simple, powerful principle: scarcity. You see, our brains use these little mental shortcuts, heuristics, to make thousands of decisions every single day. And one of the most powerful ones is the scarcity heuristic. Basically, it works like this. If something is rare or hard to get, our brain automatically flags it as being more valuable. And this doesn't just apply to things like collector's items or job opportunities. It absolutely applies to people's attention. When you make yourself constantly, endlessly available, you kind of inadvertently take scarcity out of the equation. You become abundant. And according to our brain's own built-in wiring, abundance is the enemy of desire and perceived value. It's just how we operate. You know, the legendary psychoanalyst Carl Jung actually had a name for this life force we all have. He called it psychic energy. You can think of it as the energy of your focus, your attention, your very presence in the world. And here is where it all clicks into place. Jung believed this energy acts a lot like physical energy. When you spread it thin, answering every text instantly, saying yes to every single request, you dissipate it. It becomes diffuse, spread out, abundant. But when you're selective, when you're focused, you concentrate that energy. It develops a kind of density, a weight that other people can actually feel. And their brains, using that same scarcity shortcut, register it as more valuable. So here's a crucial point, and honestly, this can be a tough one to swallow. That need we feel to be constantly available. A lot of the time, it isn't really generosity. It's actually a performance, and it's driven by anxiety. The fear that if we're not always on, always responsive, we'll be forgotten, or worse, disliked. And people can unconsciously sense that neediness, which, ironically, is the exact opposite of magnetic. Okay, but we have to make a vital distinction here. This is not about learning to play games. It's not about being cold or trying to manipulate people by pretending to be busy. That's just a performance, and trust me, that will always backfire. Genuine presence, the real stuff, it comes from having a rich inner life. It's just a state of being. A performance, on the other hand, is just a strategy. It's a technique. And you know what? People can feel the difference. One attracts. The other one, eventually, it just feels fake, and it can actually push people away. So the goal here isn't to seem less available, but to be genuinely concentrated. All right, so if it's not a performance, then how do you actually build this genuine presence? Well, here are 3 clear, actionable ways you can start cultivating it in your own life. Here they are, the big 3. First, develop a life that genuinely competes for your own attention. Second, introduce what we'll call deliberate latency into your responses. And third, you have to actively protect your interior life. Let's break down what each of these really means. Okay, for step 1, this means you need to find work or hobbies or passions that are so compelling that your attention is already invested. You're not faking being busy, you are engaged. For step 2, this is about breaking that reflex to respond to everything instantly. By just waiting, even for a few minutes, you shift from a knee-jerk reaction to a conscious choice. And for step 3, and this might be the most important one, cultivate thoughts, projects, and ideas that are for you and you alone. You see, an inner world that isn't constantly being performed for an audience has a profound, undeniable weight to it. So really, what this all boils down to isn't about learning a new set of social tactics. It's a fundamental shift in how you view your own attention and, just as importantly, your own inner world. Magnetism isn't a trick. It's not something you do. It's something you have. It's the natural outcome, the byproduct of a person who has invested in themselves, who has built a life of substance, and whose attention, as a result of all that, has become a finite and truly valuable resource. And I really want to leave you with this incredibly powerful quote from Jung. He said, "The most terrifying thing in life is to know yourself. Because once you do, you cannot keep giving yourself away. Once you truly know yourself and what you're building, the idea of just giving your energy and attention away to anything and everything, it just becomes impossible. You finally recognize its true value." And that leaves us with one final crucial question to think about. And this isn't for others, it's for you. Forget about trying to seem scarce. Instead, ask yourself this: what are you building in your life that is so important, so real, that your attention becomes a truly precious thing to give? The answer to that? Well, that's the real source of genuine presence.